Welcome back to Biz Today. We've always have an expert in studio to talk to you about trends, the topics that you as a business owner find interesting. You know it's important for your business, but sometimes you may not know, have all the know-how or know how to incorporate it well into your business. So today we're going to be talking about CRM. Now, what exactly is that? I know it's a really interesting abbreviation, a keyword for something perhaps. It's really important for your business. So we have Muhammed Ismail, the Managing Director of WebLogic. It's a company situated in Botswana. They produce a lot of software, and one particular software they have is a CRM system for your business. He'll be telling us all about it. Mohammed, welcome to Biz Today. It's lovely to have you in the studio.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. So you're pioneered in the Botswana space. Yes. I would describe it in that manner because I know you settled there. You got a partner, you put together WebLogic and produced some really great software and started getting people in that market to use it and now introducing it into the South African market.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So it's a CRM software particularly, which is why I wanted you to talk to us about CRM because you know it pretty well.
Yeah.
How would you define it? What is CRM?
Basically, the easiest way to understand what CRM is to try and understand what it isn't. Okay, so it's not a point of sale. So it's important to understand that. Point of sales are basically generally used in the retail space where people are transacting over a counter. Whereas those businesses that are generally service oriented, whether they're selling a product or a service, would require you to actually send a quotation before any business takes place.
Yeah.
So if you are that type of business who requires you to send out a quotation, somebody's happy with the quotation, and then the ball starts to roll, then the CRM is perfect for you. Now, CRM basically stands for Customer Relationship Management.
Relationship Management.
Exactly, that's all it stands for. Now, basically, what does it encapsulate is simply more than just one facet of the business. And I'll give you an example here. People generally tend to warm towards either sort of QuickBooks or Pastel to run their business.
Yeah.
But that's really just one facet of your entire business, which is generally the financial side of it. Actually, you can do your quotes, your invoicing, your credit notes. But there's so many other facets of the business that you aren't even attempting to automate or systemize, and that's your marketing, your sales processes, your workflow, how things are actually being done, your customer care,
the systems of the business.
Yes, and we tend to think only about the financial and neglect everything else.
Yeah.
So only one aspect of the business tends to be automated, and CRM basically solves that problem. To say that, okay, how many businesses actually how many people in the business are actually an accountant? Generally, nobody's an accountant. Maybe they've got some experience of bookkeeping, but Pastel and QuickBooks are really software for accountants. And most people aren't accountants and they do everything else other than accounting.
Yeah.
So what helps them? So the CRM is really for that purpose. And what's nice about it is because it encapsulates all these features, you start to move towards business automation, workflow automation. So you get some sort of oversight as to exactly how your business moves from one part of your business to the next. Okay, so that's generally in a nutshell what CRM is. And something important to realize is this is actually the first time ever in history that companies can use tools like this at such sort of cost-effective, affordable prices. Because before, big companies would invest in these big software solutions that help them manage their business processes. That's why they're able to handle customers professionally.
And that's why they're able to scale.
And exactly, that's important because if you use these sorts of tools, you scale up very quickly because everybody knows exactly what they're supposed to do and they repeat it continuously.
Yeah.
And that's what gives a business continuity. Naturally, people change and handover generally never takes place between people. Especially, I see this in a small business sector. Handovers rarely take place. You leave, you leave. Nobody else knows what you've done. There's no trail of what you've done. It's now rediscovering everything all over again. You see, so this is why CRM is extremely, extremely important for businesses, at least in the small to medium sector.
Okay, so we got that's an excellent overview of CRM and why it would be important for a business.
Yeah.
Let's break it down simply for viewers to understand. the practical side of it.
Yeah.
So from what I understand, so let me give you my simple understanding of CRM, and let's see if this is correct and you can help us break it down.
Yeah.
So I see it as a software system that I log into, and the first thing I would do in order to build my business is get in touch with someone who could be a potential customer.
Exactly.
As an example, I would cold call them,
Precisely,
collect a business card in a networking event.
That's right.
Or do something.
That's
so what
right.
do I do with that? I need to make a call or send an email,
Mm-hmm.
and then what really? So generally you sit with like an inbox full of emails.
Exactly.
You can't even track them.
Yes.
What does a CRM do in a practical manner that helps me to leverage?
It's a great question, because you see, the important thing you have to understand is information like money needs to flow. Okay, you have to really understand that, because if money stops flowing, your business is in trouble.
That's right.
Okay, information stops flowing, your business is in trouble. Or if there's something hindering that process of information getting to the decision maker in time, things tend to happen and you only find out after the fact. And the time to respond is really, it was just too late perhaps to respond, or you're always doing something after the fact. Customers are already disappointed. It's been too long before you've got back to them to give them a refund or give them extra sort of services or anything of that sort that you want to sort of encourage them to stay with you. You've lost out, because you can get to somebody, another company who offers similar services very quickly. So the whole idea is, if information needs to continuously flow, what processes have you got into place that allows that information to flow from one department or one person to the next? Okay, now what you'll find is businesses tend to fall into this trap where there's really no form of differentiation between people who do similar things, and most people to grab on to the price, which is what differentiates them, from one from the next. And that is because it's not the only way, but it's probably the easiest thing. So just drop your price.
Yeah.
And it will be cheaper. Everybody will like our price, and then they will start getting volumes. But generally speaking, what happens when you do that? I mean, you live by price, you die by price, basically, and you're not focusing on value. And what people generally tend to forget is you can actually use other techniques to improve the way you run your business. For example, if you think about your business processes, improve the experience to the customer by being professional, by allowing them to at least have access to the information or understand where their sort of service or product is within the sort of workflow process.
Yeah.
You're informing them along the way, and that's extremely important. And if somebody focuses on that process, you've got better customer service, you've got professional staff, they know what they're doing, they know how to communicate with the customer, and it doesn't matter who you talk to in the company, they can pull your information out and tell you exactly what's going on, rather than the typical response is, the boss is not in, call them tomorrow.
That's exactly
what happens.
That's such an interesting point you raised, because I had this conversation just very recently with so many colleagues. Is number one, is everybody capacitated in the team to be able to resolve a query, a simple query? And number two, what are the absolute benefits? So what tangible, real changes will you see in your business once you implement a CRM? Basically,
one of the first things you'll see is transparency of information. That's the first thing. So like you said in the example, where if I'm working on something and I'm not available, somebody now calls you and you will say, let me find out what's going on. You should be able to pick up where I left off and say, well, inform the customer, this is where the service is so far, or the product is now in dispatch. It should be with you in the next few days.
Absolutely.
You should be able to give them that information, because if you notice one thing, it's when you don't communicate is where the problems start.
So it very much sounds like your CRM system in a business not only helps you to deliver a better service and empowers everyone in the organization to deliver the promise out to the customer, but it also saves you a lot of money.
Absolutely, it does. There are various different ways CRMs are sort of being priced in the market. The tendency it seems to be that they're charging per user per month. And when you see that, immediately there's a problem. At least I see it as a problem, because that does nothing but create bottlenecks in a business. When you see a product and say, oh, I like that, I think it'd be used for my business, but they're going to charge me for every user that I have. Ooh. So then I think only 3 people should really use it because that's all I can afford.
Yeah.
So it's not helping you. It's like Sage, Pastel, whatever the case may be. Few people can have access to a system. You can ask any business, especially in the small to medium sectors, how many people have actually got access to Pastel or QuickBooks or whatever the case may be.
Generally 1 or 2 people.
1 or 2 people. So what have you just done to your business?
You've stagnated its growth.
Yes, you've created a bottleneck. Everything converges to you. So then how can that be efficient? Whereas you're not empowering anybody to take decisions, do things yourself, and move the business forward, everything converges. So they sit waiting for you to do something, you're too busy to do it, therefore you've just delayed the whole business cycle.
We need to get you back in the studio to tell us more about CRM, because it's such a wide, interesting topic, and also necessary cog in the system to be able to help a business scale themselves and to find the money that they're losing everywhere else.
Absolutely.
To sort of round up, and before you leave us, what would you say to young business owners who are still moving around in circles? Why should they employ a CRM system?
I mean, it's quite simple. Today we live in a mobile environment. Most people can be working from anywhere. We have the technology. You don't have to be in an office to be working. So if that's the case, you need tools that encourage that type of work-life balance. You say, well, you know, I could be anywhere. I can be sitting in a coffee shop. I could be working. I could be talking to my team. I could be talking to a customer. I'd be working on a project. Doesn't matter where I am. I should be able to be able to reach my team, speak to a customer. You know, time and space is irrelevant now. It's all about how quickly you can respond to a client and how efficient your business processes are. And that's essentially it. And the CRM is really fundamental in that whole sort of the goal to achieve freedom from the office, if you like.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Muhammed, thank you so much for joining us in Biz Today. It was very enlightening to hear you speak about CRM.
Pleasure.
Wonderful.
Pleasure. Thank you so much.
That was Muhammed Ismail. He is the managing director of WebLogic, which is a software development company based in Botswana and now rolling out across South Africa. You heard all about CRM. It's an important part for your business to be able to grow, to get a stronger, better team, to deliver great customer service, and also to find the money that's getting lost in your business so that you can, turn over those wonderful profits and put even more back into the business. As always on Biz Today, we have successful entrepreneurs and experts in the studio to help you to grow your business and to become a better and more inspired business owner. So until next week, join us when we have yet another successful entrepreneur and an expert in studio. Until then, goodbye.